Welcome back. Today we're breaking down a transcript from the Pop Culture Crisis channel where they're reacting to a pretty scathing Washington Post article about Erika Kirk.
And they are definitely firing back. There's a lot of passion in this script. They're angry, they're defending her.
For sure. But passion doesn't always equal a watertight argument. That's what we need to get into.
Right. Their defense gets a little shaky, and it starts almost immediately.
Yeah, okay, so let's jump right in. The first major area for improvement is how they establish their authority. They have to verify their primary sources.
It falls apart so quickly.
It really does. They're talking about biblical womanhood to counter this claim that Kirk is a crypto-feminist.
And then comes the big admission.
The host is explaining the hierarchy, God, husband, kids, career, and then they just say it out loud. I haven't watched her speak.
Ugh, that's the moment the whole thing just collapses.
It completely took me out of it. They follow up with, I think she was probably highlighting a hierarchy, and that word probably is just a killer.
It's a guess.
It's a total guess. So my first thought was, well, wait a minute. How can you say the journalist is wrong if you haven't seen what she's analyzing?
Exactly. And I get it. They're daily creators, they're moving fast. But this isn't just a headline reaction.
No, it's a direct accusation that a journalist is basically making things up.
Right. The Post article mentions a specific event. The Young Women's Leadership Summit. It talks about the visuals.
The beige and pink stage.
The Parisian living room. The journalist has ammunition, quotes, descriptions, and the hosts are coming in with assumptions. You just can't do that.
So what's the concrete fix here? They just need to watch the clip?
They have to watch the clip and then use it. Imagine if instead of guessing, they said, the Post claims her career is a crypto-feminist signal, but in that very speech, Kirk said this. And then they play the
argument's over.
Instantly. They could have even used that Parisian living room detail.
How so?
Well, instead of ignoring it, they could have offered a counter reading. Something like, the journalist sees a Parisian living room and calls it a disguise. But if you actually listen to the speech, Kirk uses that setting to talk about hospitality as a ministry. It's not a mask. It's a metaphor.
Oh, that's so much stronger.
It's fighting on the same battlefield, semiotics versus semiotics. But you can't do that if you don't show up to the battle.
Which I think leads directly to our second point. When they can't fight on the evidence, the tone shifts from logical deconstruction to something much more personal.
Yeah, we have to talk about the ad hominem attacks, the mean girl section.
Right. They just unload on the writer, Ashley Malloy. They call her a mean girl, say she has a warped worldview.
And the whole thing about her having a laptop job and never facing real hardship.
It's entertaining, I guess, in a certain way. It gets the base fired up. But is it effective?
No, it's a strategic error. It's pure venting.
Why an error, though? I mean, the article itself was pretty snarky. Aren't they just matching the energy?
They are, but in doing so, they lose the high ground. If you want to argue that the Washington Post is unprofessional, you can't respond by being unprofessional yourself.
You have to be the adult in the room.
You have to be. And the bigger problem is it's a distraction. They spend all this time on the writer's psychology.
She's just jealous, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And they completely miss the massive flaw in the article's core premise.
Which is?
That femininity equals feminism. The article's whole argument hinges on this idea that pink, sparkles, and expensive shoes are somehow a secret signal for feminism.
Which is not true.
It's historically absurd. The whole second-wave feminist movement was about rejecting hyperfemininity, the male gaze, all of that. The idea that glitter is some kind of feminist dog whistle is just wrong.
So the better attack isn't the writer is a mean girl.
No. The better attack is the writer doesn't understand the history of the movement she's writing about.
I see. So a rewrite would sound more like?
More like the article argues that loud Christian Louis Vuitton heels are a feminist disguise. This shows a profound misunderstanding of both conservatism and feminism. The author is confusing an aesthetic with an ideology. You can wear sequins and still believe in traditional gender roles. One has nothing to do with the other.
That makes the journalist look uninformed, not just mean. It's a much sharper critique.
And it convinces the person who's actually on the fence, not just the people who already agree with you.
Okay, this brings me to my favorite part of the script, because it was so close to being brilliant. But they just fumbled. The Zoran comparison.
Ah, Zoran Mamdani. The Hollywood Nepo baby?
Yes. So they bring up this other article about Zoran, this socialist politician who wears cheap suits to look like an everyman.
And they contrast it with how Kirk gets attacked for wearing luxury clothes.
But they do it as a total aside. The host says, I just thought it was worth a mention.
A mention?
I know, it's not worth a mention. It's the whole ball game.
Explain that. Why is it so central?
Because it's the smoking gun that proves the media's double standard in a very specific way. It's not just about politics. It's about how we interpret performance and costume.
Okay.
Think about the language. The media praises Zoran's cheap suit. They call his lack of shoulder padding a masterclass in political messaging.
Right. They see it as authentic. They frame it as an authentic performance of solidarity. But Kirk's dress, that's a costume, a disguise, a lie.
So Zoran is performing poverty and Kirk is performing success?
Exactly. And the journalist praises the man for pretending to be poor, but attacks the woman for, well, not pretending to be poor.
Wow, when you frame it like that.
It's a killer argument, right? Performing poverty versus performing success. The media says one is messaging and the other's deception. That's the hypocrisy.
So that comparison needs to be a central pillar, not a footnote.
It needs to be woven through the entire critique of the fashion commentary. You have to ask, why is a man's costume authentic, but a woman's costume is a lie? It exposes the whole game.
And the game itself. That brings us to the fourth and biggest point. The idea that really ties all of this together, but it's buried at the very end.
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe. I was so excited when I saw that word.
Me too. It's the perfect frame for all of this. It's a wrestling term.
For treating a staged event as if it's real, the unspoken agreement between the wrestlers and the audience.
And the host connects it to the political coverage, to the conspiracy theories about Kirk, to this feeling of living in a Schrodinger's reality.
It's the most profound insight in the whole piece. It explains why the Washington Post article was written the way it was.
And they put it at the end, like a random thought.
It's the headline. It should be the opener.
It completely reframes everything. If you start with kayfabe, then the Washington Post article isn't journalism anymore.
It's what? A script?
It's fan fiction. It's writing a script for a character they've created named Erika Kirk, the villain.
So the Parisian living room is her villain lair.
Of course. And her dress is her costume. And the audience tweeting that she looks evil or was involved in her husband's death.
They're just fans reacting to the plot line.
Yes, they're not engaging with a human being. They're engaging with a TV character. This kayfabe idea explains all of it.
So if you move that to the beginning, the whole episode transforms.
It stops being a defensive rant and becomes a sophisticated piece of media analysis.
You open with, today we're talking about kayfabe, the staged reality of pro wrestling, and how our media uses it to turn real people into villains.
So good. And then when you get to the Zoran part, he's the face, the good guy wrestler, so his costume gets praised.
And Kirk is the heel, the bad guy, so her costume gets attacked.
It ties it all together, and it solves the mean girl problem. You don't have to get angry at the journalist. She's just a narrator in the play.
It gives the host so much more authority. It's less, leave Erika alone, and more, wake up everyone, you're being sold a story.
A much more powerful message. And the thing is, the script shows they already have all these pieces. They made the wrestling comparison. They have the terminology. They just need the confidence to lead with their sharpest idea.
Okay, so let's wrap this up with a clear checklist. 4 big action items for the rewrite.
Let's do it.
Pillar number 1, verify your sources. No more, I haven't watched the speech. Watch it, quote it, use it to dismantle the article's claims directly. Pillar 2, elevate your tone. Bitch the personal insults. Forget the mean girl and laptop job stuff. Attack the flawed logic. The whole sequins equals feminism idea, not the writer.
Pillar 3, sharpen the comparison. Zoran isn't a side note, he's your star witness. Use the performing poverty versus performing success framework to expose the media's double standard on what counts as an authentic costume.
And number 4, the big one, lead with kayfabe.
Exactly. Move that concept to the very beginning. Use it as the lens to analyze everything else. Frame the whole thing not as bad journalism, but as a wrestling storyline for a political audience.
I can really see that new version. It's smarter, it's more cohesive, and frankly, it's a much more devastating critique of the original article.
It refuses to play their game. It changes the game.
To the listener who sent this in, you've got everything you need here. You have the insight. This is your chance to turn a good reaction into a great piece of analysis.
We really hope you take a shot at the rewrite. Don't just defend, deconstruct.
We'll be looking forward to seeing it. That's all for this critique. Thanks for tuning in.